Perez's ongoing fight to secure a few more years next to Max Verstappen in Red Bull's garage has hit a dead end after recent developments on the situation, which might be detrimental to the Mexican's chances of staying in the best team on the grid. Helmut Marko, who is otherwise more towards Verstappen's side, has revealed the stark reality which Checo faces, one that could end, if not his F1 career, then definitely his tenure in Red Bull. After the semi-decent 2023 season, which saw Perez barely finish P2 in a car as dominant as the RB19, the 2024 season has started as well as he could have wished, as the Mexican basically has the same amount of podiums as Max Verstappen, and consistently finishes behind him, which is basically his role at the moment. This proves that if there were any doubts about his future when it comes to this season, they are definitely done now, and Perez will be in a Red Bull seat at least until the end of this season. However, with 2025 approaching and the Pandora's box in the drivers' market being opened by Lewis Hamilton's move to Ferrari, we can wonder if Perez will indeed stay in Red Bull, seeing as a driver like Carlos Sainz is still a free agent and is looking for a seat. Sainz has been on Red Bull's radar for a little while now, and it actually goes beyond that. According to Red Bull Motorsport advisor Helmut Marko, talks have already started between the two parties, and Sainz is being replaced by Lewis Hamilton at Ferrari in 2025, and is the best free agent on the market with lots of options. According to Marko, Sainz's best offer currently comes from Audi. The German manufacturer is taking over the Sauber team ahead of its works entry to F1 in 2026, and has allegedly offered him a lucrative deal that Marko claims Red Bull cannot or will not match. Sainz would be an excellent recruit for Red Bull, given he's proven himself as a multiple race winner at Ferrari and performed well against Charles Leclerc. He has previously compared strongly to Verstappen at Toro Rosso and Lando Norris at McLaren. Reuniting with his old Toro Rosso teammate Verstappen obviously appeals to Sainz given Red Bull's domination. However, any potential interest in recruiting Sainz needs to be judged alongside Perez making such a strong case for being kept on. This makes us doubt whether Sainz is actually a top Red Bull target or just a handy backup, all the while he's still a free agent. Red Bull making Sainz its number one choice remains uncertain. The lineups for the two Red Bull F1 teams have been under constant speculation this season. Even world champion Max Verstappen's position at Red Bull Racing has been questioned. Mercedes boss Toto Wolff certainly wants everyone to believe that Verstappen could really leave, but the identity of his teammate and who will drive for Red Bull's second team remain the bigger unknowns. Sergio Perez has made a strong case for being retained for a fifth season after an impressive start to the 2024 season. Red Bull's other contracted drivers, Daniel Ricciardo, Yuki Tsunoda and Liam Lawson, are all theoretically contenders too. As team principal Christian Horner puts it, all of them are contracted as Red Bull Racing drivers. They're just loaned out to the sister team. But Perez's chances of staying in Red Bull have gotten a major blow after Helmut Marko revealed that Checo is actually chasing a 3-year contract extension with Red Bull. However, the Mexican is unlikely to have his wishes granted after an initial proposal was rejected by the reigning world champions. Speaking to motorsport.nl about Checo's prospects, Marko explained, "We are not yet in a position to finalize everything, but it has nothing to do with regulations. He knows he has to perform. First, he wanted a 3-year contract, but we will find a solution." Red Bull, considering Sainz as its top choice, would have made more sense if this were, say, the middle of 2023, when Perez was consistently underperforming and often squandering opportunities for the second Red Bull seat. However, that's not the case in 2024. Perez's statistics are worse off than 12 months ago, when he won 2 of the first 5 races and was presenting himself as a championship contender. There are definitely factors in his favor now, though. He's been very consistent, apart from ironically in Australia, where the tense problem did open the door to a victory. Being beaten by Lando Norris in China was disappointing, as was a clear deficit to Verstappen over the weekend. But the final result was also clearly influenced by mid-race safety cars. Most encouraging for Red Bull is that Perez's qualifying form has been much more convincing than it was for most of 2023, and he stuck it on the front row alongside Verstappen at the last 2 events, being the third fastest on 2 2 other occasions, and his worst qualifying performance was 5th in Bahrain. As a grid penalty meant he started 6th in Melbourne, he was actually the 3rd fastest there. Perez hasn't been particularly outstanding, and arguably not even any better than his peaks have always been at Red Bull, but as a run of races, this has been a more assured, more convincing start, and Marko says this is clearly his best season for the team yet. Marko even went as far as calling him certainly the best option for 2025 if these performances continue. So why is Sainz even in the picture then? And why, when Perez said he expected to have his future sorted and announced soon, did Horner turn around and clarify that Red Bull is in no hurry and would fix things later in the year? Well, the simple answer is that Red Bull is probably just playing games and will basically string Perez along to try to keep him. Last year, Perez faded quite quickly after his bright start, seemingly getting caught up in the idea of fighting Verstappen for the title. Horner and Marko kept making little jokes about Perez doing so well because he's out of contract, and we think those comments are at least semi-serious. Maybe Red Bull thinks that it made a mistake tying Perez down to not just a new contract early in 2022, but a 2-year one at that, and this time it's happy to hold out to keep Perez's motivation in check and make sure his focus doesn't stray either. After the Japanese GP, Perez spoke about believing his future would be decided imminently, within a month of the Suzuka race. "I am pretty relaxed about it," he told Sky Sports F1 after the race in Japan. "My main focus is in F1 and whatever comes next. I'm really pleased with what I've done in the sport so far. I believe it will be a matter of time. Obviously, the driver market is moving and the next few weeks are going to be a lot of movement for sure, so I expect within a month to really know what I'm doing next year." Horner suggested that Perez's timeline was not one that the team was going to follow, saying, "We're in a situation where we're very happy with our 2 drivers, but don't need to make a decision until much later in the year. Max is on a long-term contract, and Checo is out of contract, but driving exceptionally well so far this season. Sergio, of course, would like to make an announcement tomorrow, undoubtedly, but we as a team aren't in a particular rush. But as I say, at this point in time, we're very happy with the lineup that we have, so there is no imminent rush to announce the full driver lineup for 2025. Often the driver market heats up in the first half of the season before culminating in announcements around the summer break in August. But Lewis Hamilton's shock move to Ferrari for 2025 ignited the market at a much earlier stage this year, and not only freed up a coveted seat at Mercedes, but also unleashed an in-form Sainz into the equation. Sainz is one of a number of drivers who could conceivably end up at Red Bull, the Spaniard starting his F1 career alongside Max Verstappen at Toro Rosso as part of the Red Bull family. The Spaniard has admitted his team are talking to pretty much everyone in the paddock as he seeks to secure a drive for 2025. But for now, the Red Bull seat is Perez's to lose, according to team boss Christian Horner, with Perez very much performing like a driver who wants to stay in Formula 1 next year. And if he continues like the first 5 races of this season, we could very well see Perez in a Red Bull in 2025 as well, because why would Red Bull fix something that is not broken? Because they cannot be better than the situation they are in right now, even though most of the hard work is done by Max Verstappen. Maybe from 2026 onwards, where they will probably not be the best team, you can sit and think if you can improve the team and get an upgrade from Sergio Perez, but until then, I believe Perez's seat is safe. What do you think? Will Perez leave if his demands aren't met? Let us know down in the comments below, and we will see you in the next video.